Welcome to another Howls and Growls post-game breakdown. Today we're going to talk about how the Timberwolves survived Luka Doncic in their impressive 18-point win over the Dallas Mavericks. Now I say survive because Luka went off in this one. He finished with 39 points and 13 assists, so they never found a way to completely stop him, but they did adjust their defensive coverages throughout the night to slow him down. It felt like Luka was on track for an all-time night when he scored or assisted on all of Dallas's 29 first quarter points, and Minnesota really did look lost when they were trying to guard him. To even keep him to those 39 points and 13 assists really felt like a win considering how it was going in that first half. After scoring 26 points and doling out 8 assists in that first half, he scored just 13 points, had 5 assists, and 5 turnovers in the second half. Again, it's not like he was awful in that second half, but Minnesota slowed him down enough to pull away from the Mavericks as a team. So let's dive into this film. The biggest mistake Minnesota were making in that first half was trying to stop Doncic in drop coverage. You see here Gobert is dropping back when the ball screen comes, allowing all of this space here so that he can stay attached to Lively when he rolls to the rim. But that's just giving Luka all of that space to work with, and when he gets Jaden McDaniels on his hip, we know what he can do with time and space on the ball. So in that drop coverage, Luka is just picking apart Minnesota's defense. This is a little snug pick and roll down by the free throw line, and Towns is too far from the point of attack. That causes overcommitment from Kyle Anderson down here, who wants to stay in help position. Now Anthony Edwards is guarding 2 players. Luka waits in the air to see which one Ant chooses, and then whips the pass out to the open man. And you see it again here. Gobert is dropped all the way back, and now everybody on Minnesota's defense is panicking. Towns is going to start creeping over here instinctively to try and help, and that's going to free up the open corner shooter for Luka to find. His teammates missing looks was an issue later, but you can see how he is manipulating the defense with ease in this first half. Really, it's all about the doubt that he is putting into Minnesota's defense. They don't trust their coverage, and it's starting to show. Here in semi-transition, you see Reed and Towns confused right here as to who's guarding the roll man, and that's Curtains. Reed has to step up late into here to stop Doncic, and that means Derek Lively is going to be wide open through here on his dive to the rim. So even when Doncic wasn't running screen and roll, it's the over-helping on the defense that's killing Minnesota. He's the one popping off a screen here, and as soon as he starts rumbling downhill, Troy Brown Jr. is trying to provide low man help over here. That's leaving the skip pass to the corner wide open, and we know that Luka is finding that every single time. Really, there was dozens of examples in this first half of Luka tearing Minnesota's drop coverage and over-helping defense to shreds, but you get the gist just from those clips. It was just the same methodology over and over again. And actually the second half started the same way. Jaden McDaniels is a great defender, but you're asking for trouble leaving him on an island with a red-hot Luka Doncic. Minnesota's defense still isn't quite on the ball, so he's just going to keep working the defender onto his hip and then choosing whatever avenue he wants once he has the entire mid-range area to work with. Something had to change if Minnesota wanted to pull away though, and eventually it did. When Luka comes around this screen, Gobert jumps up and hedges, then he's going to backtrack and start to recover back here to pick off the pass. Now you're turning Luka pick and rolls into points at the other end. This second half was all about making Doncic's life just that little bit harder. Rather than allowing him to have free run in the middle of the floor, Minnesota are now making him get off the ball early. Again, Naz Reid is way up in coverage here this time. That's going to leave Grant Williams drifting into space here as Reid's man, but the pressure forces Luka to make a tough pass. It's not the same pinpoint dimes we saw in the first half, and Williams bricks a jumper. Once Minnesota got their pick and roll coverage right, their backline rotation started to click into place. All of a sudden, those overreactions that were killing them in the first half made sense because they needed someone to rotate behind Gobert to fill up the paint. So when Gobert jumps out again in this high wall coverage here, Luka is going to split the defense with a sick move, but Towns is rotating down here, and the rest of the defense knows to follow suit. Jaden McDaniels fans out to the corner to stop that shooter. Anthony Edwards is going to help the helper and come out to the top here, and now those Luka drives that killed Minnesota in the first half are resulting in tough looks for Luka's teammates instead of open ones. Again, they're just going to make Dallas's shooters make shots that aren't coming directly from Doncic dimes. He's still making smart playmaking reads like this little pocket pass, but Anderson is low man helping here, and Ant is pushing out to the corner here. It's not the best closeout, but it's damn sure better than Doncic weaving his magic for an entire possession. The other part of slowing Luka down was staying home on his passing outlets when he was in isolation. He's so good at forcing help and then punishing that help, so Minnesota just needed to hold their nerve and let their awesome point of attack defenders do their thing. Nobody is overcommitting on these possessions like they were in the first half. If they stay on their man, they force Luka to beat them by himself. Now we know he can do that, we've seen it in this game, but it's a lot harder to do so than spraying the ball to open shooters and rollers like he did earlier. So instead of panicking and overcommitting like they were in the first half, Minnesota are just going to make one rotation on these perfect isolation possessions. Here we have Luka on an island with McDaniels, they're duking it out, and just as Luka finds a lane, Gobert just stays in here to cut off the shot and the pass. Every time Luka isn't getting to his spot as a scorer or manipulating the defense to find open shooters, Minnesota would be considering that as a win. And meanwhile, at the other end, Minnesota have run away with this game with their own offensive execution, and Doncic is now experimenting with high-risk passes that end in turnovers, or the Mavericks offense is just relegating him to the corner while his teammates continue struggling to create their own offense or knock down shots from behind the arc. Minnesota was never going to truly stop Luka Doncic in this game. You only need to look at his godly box score to know that, but by tweaking a few things defensively, they were able to stop the Mavericks as a well-oiled offensive machine being fueled directly by Doncic. Thanks again for watching Hows and Grouse. Please subscribe for more.